But I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony.
We spend so much of our life trying to prove something.
But hands down, this was the most painful to watch.
I've always said that Meghan Markle's brain should be studied by medical science.
But to the world, it's just, what has she been doing? Does she work? As opposed to, oh my gosh, I work so hard and
Well, she never stops whining.
On what makes Meghan Markle this diabolical.
There was a time when Meghan Markle could do no wrong. The glamorous outsider who broke royal tradition. The bold American who dared to walk away from the British monarchy. The woman who was going to conquer Hollywood on her own terms. But fast forward just a few years, and the headlines tell a very different story. Meghan Markle's carefully curated Hollywood comeback has hit a wall, hard. Her Netflix show, once heralded as a cultural reset, is now mocked across social media. Studios are quietly backing away, former allies have gone silent, and a second season that was supposed to save her reputation may just be the final nail in the coffin. What went wrong? How did one of the most talked about women in the world go from streaming star to industry pariah? The answer is more shocking and more personal than you might think. When Netflix greenlit With Love Meghan, insiders expected big things. It was pitched as an authentic, behind-the-scenes look at motherhood, wellness, and life after royalty. A safe bet for Netflix, a redemption arc for Meghan. But the reality? Season 1 quietly dropped and immediately flopped. Viewers complained. It felt inauthentic, overly polished, and even worse, boring. Critics were merciless, calling it tone-deaf, PR fluff, and devoid of substance. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, embarrassingly low. And while Netflix didn't release official viewership numbers, leaks from inside the company painted a grim picture. Retention rates were terrible, social media buzz dried up within days, and subscribers began voicing a more serious complaint. Why are we paying more for content like this? Some even cited Meghan's show as a reason they cancelled their subscriptions. What was supposed to be a reintroduction became a rejection. Things went from bad to worse. After the Netflix debacle, Meghan reportedly pitched several new projects across Hollywood. Reality series, dramas, docuseries with a feminist twist. But the response was chilling. According to insiders, HBO, Paramount, even Blumhouse, all passed, quietly, but firmly, and not just because the content wasn't compelling. Behind the scenes, Meghan had developed a reputation that made executives nervous. Words like difficult, controlling, and image-obsessed began surfacing. Some insiders claimed creative disagreements turned into shouting matches. Others pointed to her insistence on total narrative control, something that clashed with nearly every showrunner or producer she met. In short, the Hollywood honeymoon was over. Meghan's camp went into damage control. Suddenly, interviews began appearing in selective outlets, carefully worded statements about how women are often misunderstood in creative spaces, subtle jabs at male-dominated networks, even hints that her failures were part of a broader conspiracy to silence strong female voices. But it didn't land. Instead of sympathy, the public sensed desperation. The same Meghan who once captivated the world by stepping into her power now appeared lost, bitter, deflective. And the irony, the more she tried to control the narrative, the more unhinged it all began to feel. Then came the twist no one expected. Netflix quietly approved a second season of With Love Meghan. At first, it looked like a chance at redemption. But then the details emerged. Season 2 wouldn't just be a lifestyle series. It would take a political turn. Meghan wanted to incorporate gender commentary, reflections on her personal struggles, and sharp criticism of the media's treatment of women. In a cooking show, critics were baffled, viewers were confused. Even Netflix executives, according to reports, were wary. One insider allegedly called the direction a strategic nightmare. Another said the tone was all over the place. And when early clips were shown to test audiences, the reactions were brutal. It wasn't just boring anymore. It was preachy, contrived, self-important. Around the same time, Meghan reportedly pitched a reality show to Amazon. The concept? A mix of The Osbournes, Real Housewives, and royal life drama. Initial talks sounded promising, until they weren't. Sources say Amazon quickly grew skeptical. The idea was too similar to existing formats. The tone was confusing, and once again, Meghan's demand for editorial control became a sticking point. Before long, the project stalled, then vanished completely. To this day, no one from Amazon has commented publicly. But behind closed doors, the message was clear. Meghan Markle was becoming a risky investment. Then came the plagiarism accusations. In early 2025, media outlets began comparing Meghan's upcoming segments to Pamela Anderson's short-lived cooking show. The format, tone, and even visual style were strikingly similar. Fans pointed out that even the product placement, down to a luxury blender brand, seemed copied. Meghan's team denied the claims, but the damage was done. The public perception shifted again, this time from overexposed to unoriginal. Insiders claim Netflix executives were furious about the situation. One anonymous producer was quoted saying, "We didn't realize until too late how derivative it all was. It wasn't just a bad look, it was embarrassing." And now, perhaps the final chapter is being written. Multiple sources report that Meghan's Netflix deal will quietly expire in September 2025, and that the company has no intention of renewing it. They won't make a public statement. They won't criticize her directly, but they also won't invest another dollar in her brand. Season 2 will air, but with no promotional push. Behind closed doors, Netflix executives reportedly feel burned. They invested in a name, not a story. And the name has lost its value. The internal nickname for Meghan's project, The Vanity Show. Enough said. What happened to Meghan isn't just about her. It's about a deeper shift in Hollywood. For years, studios chased controversy, drama, and clickbait names. But now, that era is ending. Audiences are burned out. Viewers want stories, not soapboxes. And Meghan, whether fairly or not, represents everything the industry is moving away from. She tried to sell herself as a brand, but the product didn't match the promise. Worse, it didn't evolve. And in a town that runs on reinvention, standing still is the fastest way to fall behind. Meghan Markle once stood at the intersection of royalty and Hollywood, two of the world's most powerful platforms. But she tried to control the narrative instead of telling a real one. She had the world's attention, but didn't know what to say. And now, with her Netflix deal crumbling, her reputation fading, and no studio eager to take the risk, she may be facing the one thing no celebrity is ever prepared for: silence. Because in Hollywood, when the spotlight turns cold, the fall is fast, and the comeback is never guaranteed.